Welcome to Dan's Models. It's Dan and John with an HO scale car here.
Yeah. This is a Walther's air slide covered hopper, and that is actually still in its factory paint. And I had several of these, and they were good cars for their day. They don't really look as good as like some of the newer models that have come out. But I don't think anyone else so far has made a 2-bay air slide.
How old is it?
I think these came out in the 80s.
Okay, so it's pretty old.
Yeah. But I did some work on this one, so I was going to talk about that to make some improvements to it. So one of the first things I did was to remove the original clunky roof walk and replace it with a photo etched part from Plano. And the Plano part is basically three major assemblies. There's the centerpiece, which just glues on the risers that are already on the car, and then the two end pieces. And those actually have a little support structure, so they're like a little sandwich of two photo etch parts, and you have to fold the bottom one a little bit to make the legs and stuff on it. And then they just glue onto the roof and onto the center roof walk, and then I added some grab irons as well. It's basically the same process that I used in our Weathering and Detailing Volume 2 on a box car, only this was a covered hopper, but it's the same idea. So these cars have molded on grab irons on the ladders, on the sides and on the ends, and I left that because honestly changing that would require a lot of surgery.
Yeah.
And it would also probably entail repainting at least part of the car, and I just didn't want to do all that with this model. But I did add a photo etched crossover platform in place of the original, and I added a coupling lever and a train airline. I left the stock brake wheel, but did do those other things, so I think that helps it, especially the crossover platform, because that was also kind of clunky looking. The car already came with the major brake components like the reservoir and the triple valve and the cylinder, and it also has the plumbing for the outlet gates. But I did add with some brass wire. I added some plumbing, some smaller plumbing between the brake components. Mostly the stuff that'll show. Like I didn't bother with this, but there are, I made the two lines running between these two parts, and I also I added some styrene little platforms here because there's a little rod that runs out to each truck, which would represent the rod going to the trucks from the brake system. Didn't model any of like the lever mechanisms or any of that under it. But just I put this because it hangs down a little bit and you can't see it when the car's rolling down the track, because it's hard to see here, but this little wire does stick down a little bit below the sill. So it does show when it's rolling down the track. It makes it look more detailed than it really is.
So, a little trickery here.
Yeah. I also replaced the original trucks with AccuRail trucks, and the wheels are from Reeboks, and they're the semi-fine scale wheels, so they have a narrower tread profile, which I think looks good on cars where you can see it, covered hoppers and tank cars especially. So another thing I did was to file the stirrup steps thinner when you look at them from the side. They were originally thicker, and I didn't know of an aftermarket piece that looked just like these at the time, so I just decided to leave them. But like I said, I just filed them down so that they had a more scale-like cross section.
That looks like something you could have fabricated with brass wire.
Yeah, they are actually more like a brass, like a flat piece.
No, I know what you're saying. I can see how it's not a rounded thing.
It's not round. It's like a flat thing. I think A-Line may actually sell some that look like this, but I didn't know that when I did this. This car's a few years old, so
yeah. Well, dude, seriously though, even just filing it down probably helped a lot.
Yeah, it does. It looks a lot better than the original. So it was a very delicate, because they're not, especially as they get thinner and thinner, they become pretty fragile. So you really have to be careful when you're doing it.
No power tools, right?
No. This is definitely very, very slow work with the hand file. So the markings on this car are pretty much as it came from the factory, but I did add the ACI label and the COTS stencil. So made it look a little more modern. I actually found photos of a couple of these cars, and I used those to position the extra decals. I think the car's a lot better than it was. I would like it better if it had the freestanding grabs on it. That kind of still bugs me, but like I said, it'd be probably more work than it's worth on a painted model to do that. So I figured by the time I do something like that, someone will come out with a better model one.
Probably.
You listening, Exact Rail?
Oh, Exact Rail, right? One of your favorites. Yeah. Oh, boy. And I'll tell you what, if anybody from Exact Rail is watching this, send one to us and we'll review it,
Yeah.
You can contact us. Actually, I should mention that we do product reviews. And if you're watching this, you probably already know because you're probably subscribed to the channel. But if you're a manufacturer of any of these kind of things and you want us to review your item, contact us and we'll send you an address and do a review on it. That doesn't mean necessarily that it will be a gushing, glowing review, but it'll be an honest one, if nothing else, right?
Right.
So, all right. Well, I don't know how we get into plugging the review videos on Dan's models, but
right.
Hey, whatever.
Yeah.
So shameless self-promotion.
Yeah.
Leave it to me. All right. We'll catch you next time.
All right.